For BamaCentral.com, my name is Clay Miller, and this is The Extra Point. Today, I'm joined by Katie Wyndham, who is one of Bama Central's writers, and we're going to be discussing Alabama gymnastics. And Katie, they had kind of a challenging start to the season, facing some top teams, but are now kind of hitting their stride. So what's the state of the Alabama gymnastics team right now?
Yeah, I mean they're coming off huge meet last Friday, their best regular season score since 2014. And they really this season, if you look at the scores, how they started out, it really wasn't too bad. Gymnastics, I know as sports fans, it's easy to get caught up in wins and losses, but gymnastics doesn't really matter as much. It's more your scores. And they hit that 197 mark. And then last week they got the 197.875. And so they're in a really good spot right now to get a score that big this early in the season. Overall, around gymnastics scoring's been a little high this year, but they're in a good spot. You got some people coming back from injuries, coming back strong, like Luisa Blanca and Makari Doggett, that add a lot of the lineups. They have a really powerful vault lineup that's 6'10" start values. And so we saw what can happen when they hit those. And then tonight against Georgia in the Power Pink meet, I would think we'll see another big score.
Yeah, so their scores are obviously getting a lot better. So talk a little bit about some of the people on the roster, people on the team who have impressed you, and maybe in specific areas, whether that be the floor, the vault, or the uneven bars, things like that.
Yeah, so I kind of asked Dana Duckworth before the season started on our preseason Zoom about really, for me, the key to this team is the junior class, the four girls of Luisa Blanca, Makari Doggett, Ella Burgess, and Maddie Wallagora. They've all kind of throughout their Crimson Tide careers had some injury issues where they weren't able to compete for periods of time, but this year they're all relatively healthy. Luisa's been competing all around. Maddie's competed in it some. Makari competed on floor for the first time last week this season, and she's coming back. And then Ella's only been on beam, but she's coming back from injury still, and so she could add more to the lineups. And so that group really brings a lot to this team. Luisa Blanca was last year's SEC Gymnast of the Year. And so she has the high scoring capability, as well as Makari. They're the two girls that got perfect tens last year for the Crimson Tide. And so I think that group's really the key to this team moving forward. But then, like I said earlier, the vault lineup's been really impressive. Bars had been their best event. And then last week, it was the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been, but they have huge scoring potential there. They do on floor as well. You can't talk about this team without mentioning the fifth-year Lexi Graber as well, who's the first gymnast in Alabama history to compete in 5 different seasons. And so, she can compete all around. But the thing is, with this year's team, with the depth they have, that she doesn't need to. There's a lot of positives coming from this team right now. And then tonight's Power Pink meet is always special with kind of the meaning behind it, and it's against a rival in Georgia this year, so it should be another good night.
Looking forward to it, and it's a good sign that Alabama is improving their scores as they are. And as you mentioned, tonight they'll face Georgia in the Power of Pink meet at home, and we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining me today, Katie. Once again, for BamaCentral.com, my name is Clay Miller, and this has been The Extra Point.